If you are a regular listener or viewer to the channel, you'll know that I recently sort of promised that I would start working on smaller, uh, quicker to make, more tight experiences that offer a very fun gameplay loop but doesn't necessarily offer tens of hours of entertainment, and instead it keeps it concise and it keeps it to a sort of thing where the game is just meant to be fun, meant to be short and sort of repetitive, because I think that these are good ways to keep people playing your game even when it doesn't have the content of a double A game as to the extent of some of the previous games that I have made, because my games have always been relatively content rich. And so now I'm switching to a format where the games are replayable, but they don't necessarily offer all that much content in terms of raw gameplay hours. So I've decided which game I'm going to be making as a first one to test this theory, and I haven't just decided, I've actually made maybe about 70% of it already. So this game is called, what did I call it? Spooky Survivors. Now, of course, everyone knows that survivor likes are on their way out, really. They aren't the most played genre at the moment. A couple of years ago they were, but this is the kind of game that I've always wanted to make, and I think it would be a good first short experience for my portfolio. Now, if you know me, you'll know that I'm a big fan of the game Brotato, and a lot of what that game does are things that I will try and replicate, and I will try and add to my game, of course adding my own spin to it, not just making a hard copy of the game, but sort of just giving it my own version of what I think a Binding of Isaac, Brotato, Vampire Survivors kind of game could be. And the game that I was previously working on a couple of months ago called Zombuddies is similar to this, but that game, I feel that the scope could be too big, and so I would like to make that game, but I want to make this one first, and then I'll base them in the same universe and see if there is potential to also make Zombuddies and make it maybe the sequel to this game, if I could say that. So this game is called Spooky Survivors. You play as Van Hobo, which is sort of like a pun about Van Helsing. So Van Hobo wakes up in the middle of a park having had a bender the previous day, and he is surrounded by monsters and he needs to fight to survive. So Van Hobo is sort of like your typical demon slayer kind of character, but he has, and this is one thing that I want to do with this game that I think would be unique, where you don't unlock new abilities as you progress. All the abilities are there when you start, but everything is at level 1. So you have to choose which abilities to level up instead of which to unlock. And this opens up a myriad of new gameplay opportunities, because instead of having to choose new abilities, the abilities are all there and you use them all from the start. So the game is quite easy for the first few rounds, but you have to be very tactical about which ones you upgrade, because that sort of determines how long you'll survive. And that's the point of these games, right? Is the replayability and seeing how long you can go and how many waves you can make. Now, this game has to be something new, something that I haven't done yet, and something that challenges me, not just in terms of the gameplay, the core gameplay loop, the fundamentals, but also in terms of aesthetic. And I'm a 3D artist. I've done at this point 10 plus years of 3D work for clients. And so all of my well, not all, but most of my games are 3D at this point. I have one 2D one, which was sort of like a pixel art rip-off game, which is fine. It was just me playing around. And this is kind of that again. This is just me playing around and trying something new. And so not just the mechanics will be something new to me, but also the way that it looks and feels. So I've sort of decided to, when I was trying out art styles, when I was a kid, I liked to draw a lot. I used to draw every day and just draw random things. I always really sucked at faces. I probably still do. But so I thought to myself, maybe I should take a little bit of that childhood wonder and, that pure creativity that we used to have as kids and get back to that thing where it's all about just being creative and just creating something instead of looking at, will this thing make me this X amount of dollars? But just instead, do I enjoy making this? And so I've tried something new. So what I've done, and keep in mind I haven't done this kind of thing in years, but I've drawn on a paper, I've drawn a bunch of designs. So this is everything from, you can see I spilled water on it already, everything from enemy designs to sort of like props for the environment and some grasses, some trees, some background stuff. And then of course I've also drawn up Mr. Van Hobo himself. So this is something new to me. I've never done anything like this. And I've already sort of worked a style into this. So I'm going to pop up on the screen some examples of the things that I just shown you, but after I've digitally altered them. So here are some of the stuff that I've been working on. Check it out. So yeah, so it's an interesting style. I think that it is, to me, it's unique. I don't know. I assume a lot of people do this kind of thing, but it's just something that I've never tried. So I wanted to try it, make something new. And this is a unique style to me. So I draw it, then digitally, just with my mouse, I sort of trace the drawing, and then I just color it in. I just do it in paint.net, so it's a really easy process. I enjoy paint.net because of all the plugins. You can kind of make like a lightweight, powerful image editor with it. A lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I just enjoy it. And yeah, that's really the art process. So it's a very raw look, and it's something that I assume maybe not everyone will love, but who cares? It's just something that I want to do for a bit. So my timeline for this project is going to be until the... So Steam Next Fest, the next one, is at the beginning of February. I think it's the 5th of February. And that usually runs for like a week, right? So I'm probably going to do that Next Fest for the demo. And then probably a week after the Next Fest. So let's say late February, I'm going to release the game in full. And then I'll have some fresh wish lists as well. And we'll see if that makes a difference. Because a lot of this, what I'm doing, are sort of just tests to see, what happens when you do these things, because I think a lot of you are curious about that as well, because, let's face it, only developers are watching this anyway. So yeah, so that's sort of the plan. That's what I want to do. I want to get the game to a playable state now for a demo, but the demo is going to be very similar to the full release. It'll be the same gameplay loop. It'll just be, the full release will just have some more art. I'll just do a few more of those pages. So that's sort of the idea for the game. So far it's been about 2 weeks of work full time, and yeah, I think the game is at a steady state so far. I'll put up a few screenshots while I'm talking so that you can check out what the game looks like in action. I don't have a video or anything yet, but along with this video I do want to announce that the Steam page will be going live. So when you're watching this, the Steam page will already be up. So if you enjoy the look of the game, please wishlist, check it out. But don't wishlist if you don't think you're going to buy it. Now, the game is going to be cheap. I mean, it's going to be like, I'm probably going to price it at like $3 to $5. Maybe $5 would be like the maximum, just to get like that good sale price. So the game won't be expensive, but don't wishlist it if you don't think you're going to buy it, because those wishlists don't help me. People think that they help, but they don't. They make it worse. So only wishlist it if you do plan on actually buying it and leaving a review, because that's, that's the only thing that really helps with the algorithm that Steam has developed. So yeah, that's about it for the game. That's my plan going forward. I have some more plans for other games in the next year, but I don't want to get too much ahead of myself, because that's something I tend to do. So I'm just going to focus on this for a little bit and just get this out. Now, I don't expect that this is going to make a lot of money. I really don't. But, I've set up my business in such a way where I have multiple sources of income, so that I can do stuff like this, so that I can try different things and hopefully not hit my head again like I did with Operator 8 and Grunt, even though I am going to be releasing a Grunt game next year. So yeah, that's about it for the video. I've seen a lot of people are doing this prototyping route now. Thomas Brush is a big proponent of this going into next year, and I agree with him 100%. So let's see how it works out for all of us. It's going to be interesting, and for myself, I'm just getting back to the fun of it, getting back to creativity, and just, you know, the reason I got into this in the first place, to enjoy it. So that's going to be it for the video. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.